driving the Saab 900 Turbo SE Monte Carlo yellow convertible. For the bumps. Despite paying a boatload in property taxes, our street is not in the finest shape. I think that in such a eye-catching color, people would stop pulling out in front of you, but it doesn't seem to work that way. We're just going a short distance. That's even better. Thank you, sir. Things I love the most about this car is that despite being a manual conversion, if I hadn't have told you that, you wouldn't have known driving it. That it started out like as an automatic. This is completely subjective, but I feel one of the benefits to converting an automatic car is they tend to get driven maybe not quite as hard. So potentially when you're starting with an automatic, starting with a car that's been used a little more gently, who knows? You can certainly beat the hell out of an automatic if you want, but buying this car from the proverbial little old lady in Florida who held on to it for a very long time, I suspect she did not enter too many stoplight challenges with the local youth. Although Saabs of this vintage have a reputation for gearbox issues, I've experienced nothing of the sort with this car. No popping out of the gear, no grinding, and for those of you who don't know, Context Saab here in Rhode Island is really well known all over the Northeast. Mike Connolly, the owner, not have put anything in this car that was not would not meet his stamp of approval. So I realize that's hearsay to most folks who don't live in the area, but I don't think you'd have to look too hard online to see that Contec has a wonderful reputation. And you know, Mike knew my goals for this car before it got here, and I had been bothering them for a couple of months about finding me a Monte Carlo yellow car, and they made inquiries on my behalf, but nothing struck loose. So when I told them I found one, they were prepared for whatever was necessary to bring this car up to my standards of just being a really fun, reliable driver. And I think it's that and then some. Just a happy car. And it's one of those cars that inspires you with confidence when you drive it, to the point you say, yeah, I would get in it, take this wherever I needed to go, no matter the distance of the trip. There's no inclination of needing further work to be used every day reliably. And so I really am going to miss this car, because you're not going to find another one, given how long it took to find this car. And one of the benefits of the manual conversion is it's terrific while you're in their project. So you've got the engine out, you got the transmission out. Let's just do a bunch of other work to make it as turnkey as possible. So this really is a car you can get in and go anytime you want. And now with the AC working, it truly is an all conditions car. Had the AC on the whole time. It's very cold. And that was not just a conversion, but we did some other work to the condenser and a few other fixes while we were in there. That's all detailed on the invoice. And really was kind of the last punch list item I had on this car. Suspension feels great. I really like Coneys over Bilsteins these days. I used to be a Bilstein guy for everything, but after a few years the ride just gets so harsh. Or maybe I'm just getting old, but the Coneys just seem to be a great option for everyday driving. They're comfortable, they don't create a harsh ride, and you factor in the fact they're fully adjustable and they create a very responsive car as an end result. I just don't see how you go wrong with Coneys. Funny story, when I got them, Abbott Racing in the UK was the only one that could get them. And they told me they had one set left, and with the pandemic raging, they weren't sure when they'd get any more, so I paid a very fair price to Abbott Racing to get these here. I'm glad I did. It really was the best option for the car, and created a really ideal balance between pretty deft handling and plenty of comfort for you and the kids or wife over driving with you. And as part of that, I'm a big believer in taking cars for alignments at race shops. So there's a facility up in Massachusetts that does a lot of spec Miata racing, track car racing in general, and track car rentals and track car prep. I had them really dial the car in, make it a pretty fun front driver. We replace the tie rods at the same time, and it feels tight. You don't really feel like you're in a front driver. Yeah, let's drive with me. See, I'm enjoying driving this car to the point that I don't want to go back, and now I'm like, why am I getting rid of it? But I mentioned I've got this site. I hope some of you will go check out. It's a great tool for logging all your data, receipts, photo documentation of your the work you do on a car on a weekend or in the garage at night. And the really cool thing is, should you be ready to sell the car on a site like Bring a Trailer, cars, the viz, what have you. You can press one button and it will basically pull down everything you've done to that car into a very concise one-pager, if you will, but digital format. And you can upload your own photos, add your own commentary. But it's a really nice tool for tracking what you're doing to a car that you're going to own for 2 or 3 years, as opposed to kind of scrambling the day before you decide to sell it and try to pull that data in a mad dash to make the car look as good as possible. So the site is www.thecommongear.com, and if you've got projects you're working on, we also have a growing following on Instagram, where I've been putting my own work, and would love to see other folks join in. So that's really the motivation for selling this car, is we want to build a mobile app. The site is mobile friendly, but mobile app would be even better. So yeah, I had this car in the 1990 Audi V8 Quattro for sale, and then my business partner actually has his hands on a car that's been in his family for quite some time that I think you'll see here eventually, which is a 92 Volkswagen GTI 16 valve in the very desirable Montana green color, completely stock. We're going to get that home the next few weeks and do a little work on it, and have it be that I'm not the only one selling the car that I love for fun on this site. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this test drive video. This is a great car, a lot of fun to drive. Monte Carlo yellow is, as you know, very hard to find, and they're not getting any easier to find. I think this one's got all the right work done to it, and are there, you know, some minor cosmetic areas that can be improved? Absolutely, but this, to me, this is the best way to have a convertible. It's just, you can hop in and use it immediately however you want. All right, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.